Are you serious? Nuclear tanks? Tanks? 6 underground tanks? Radioactive waste leaking in Washington State? What? Are you leaking? Are you leaking? Underground? Underground? 6 tanks of radioactivity over in Washington State. Underground. Underground. Folks, this is insane. This is insane. Look at this. 6 underground tanks holding a mix of radioactive and toxic waste are leaking at America's most contaminated nuclear site in Washington State. Federal and state officials are saying, posting an eventual risk to the groundwater rivers. Wormwood! Wormwood! Can I ask a question? And I didn't know this, but Carrie of Washington State, last night on my show, my Sunday night live show, in the chat room said, yes, these nuclear tanks are in the southern central part of Washington State, not real far from what? From Mount St. Helens. Can I ask a question? What if the thing just blew sky high? Could it just finish cracking open those underground nuclear tanks? There's more than 6 tanks buried there, folks. There's a bunch of them. Look at this. The leaks have been renewed discussion over the delays for emptying the tanks, which were installed decades ago and are long past their intended 20-year lifespan cycle. So none of these tanks would be acceptable for use today. They are all beyond their design life. None of them should be in service, said Tom Carpenter of Hanford Challenge, a Hanford watchdog group. And yet, they're holding 2/3 of the nation's high level of nuclear waste. Wormwood, wormwood. Now I know wormwood is a meteorite that comes crashing to the earth and turns the water and all the rivers and everything into wormwood, into poison. It would kill 1/3 of the world. But this is just not good, is what I'm trying to say. Now, Suzanne Dahl, do you got any coffee? Are you serious? Slap your grandma, because this is not good. Suzanne Dahl, the tank waste treatment manager for the Washington Department of Ecology, told Reuters that 4 of the tanks have leaked in the past. It points to the age of the tanks and how they're going to be an increased probability of this happening in the future. When waste is in the tanks, it's manageable. But once it's out of the tanks and in the soil, it's much harder to manage. Harder to manage? It's impossible to manage. What? You can't remove it. And down the road, you're adding contamination in the groundwater. It already exists. Just last week, state officials announced that one of Hanford's 177 tanks was leaking 150 to 300 gallons of radioactive material a year. 300 gallons! What? Why isn't Congress can't even pass a budget? The sequester's coming. Don't worry about it. The president went on vacation. He spent what? $989,000, and he spent another, I forgot how many million. They got to go on vacation, guys. They got to go on vacation. I'm not against them going on vacation. But do they have to spend millions of dollars on vacation and parading around the world while radioactivity is leaking in the ground in Washington State? And get this. The declining waste levels in the 6 tanks are missed because only a narrow band of measurements are evaluated, rather than a wider band that would have shown the levels changing over time. It's like if you're trying to determine if a climate change is happening or only looking at the data for today. Climate change. Perhaps human error. The protocol did not call for it, but that's the not most important thing here. It's out of sight, it's out of mind. Don't worry about it. It's leaking in the ground. It's way out there in Washington State. We got more important things to talk about. We got more important things. Like the Gay Marriage Act and abortion rights. We need to spend more money on Planned Parenthood. We need to put Planned Parenthood in our schools. We need to teach against the Constitution. We need to find out ways to take the American people's guns. We need to take prayer out of school, take guns out of your home. We need to regulate how fast ketchup runs. Are you serious? Don't worry about radiation. It's not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. Why am I even reading it? Why am I even yelling? Why am I going, what? Why am I going, are you serious? Well, why? Nobody cares. Just turn the video off. Just turn it off.